NFL Week 7 is in the books. The Steelers are the only undefeated team after 7 weeks of football. The Seahawks fall to the Cardinals. Kyle Murray outduels Russell Wilson on a great Sunday night football game. Also, Baker Mayfield brings the Browns back, has a great game against the Bengals. OBJ gets hurt. Hopefully he gets well soon. In the Premier League, matchday 6 is in the books. It seems like we can't go one weekend without VAR controversy. We'll touch on some games. We'll touch on the controversy that happened this weekend. My name's Ismael San Juan. This is Hard to Handle Sports, episode number 13. Let's get started. In the NFL, things started off on Thursday with the Giants against the Eagles. Eagles win 22-21. Carson Wentz brings them back. Has a great second half to bring the Eagles back against the Giants. The Eagles are now in first place of the NFC East. The NFC East is the worst division of football. The Eagles are 2-4-1, and they're in first place. That should tell you something about the division. On Sunday games, let's go over them real quick. Saints beat the Panthers 27-24. They're trying to keep pace with the Buccaneers. In the NFC South, a good win for the Saints. Bills beat the Jets 18-10. Everyone saw that coming. The Jets might go winless. The Bills actually struggled in this game. Their offense is not clicking like it was at the beginning of the season. Josh Allen is struggling. He went from an MVP candidate to now people are questioning how good he really is. The Browns come back and beat the Bengals 37-34. This was a ridiculous game. I'll dive into it more in a little bit. Washington versus Cowboys 25-3. Washington football team beats the Cowboys. The Cowboys are reeling. They look like they just keep going into a worse and worse direction every week. They lose their quarterback. Andy Dalton got knocked out, and none of his teammates went to defend him. Nobody got under the other team's face. It was a bad look for the Cowboys. It's a bad look for McCarthy. That team is a mess. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they fire McCarthy before the season ends. I feel like as the weeks go on, more and more stuff could be blamed on McCarthy. And as the Packers are doing better and better, you can kind of tell that McCarthy was probably weighing down Rodgers and the Packers. He's probably not that good of a coach. It doesn't look like he's reinventing himself for modern day football. And the Cowboys look super ugly. I know Jerry Jones believes in him, but if the Cowboys keep playing like this, if they keep putting up pathetic performances like this, he might not finish the season. Speaking of the Packers, they bounced back after getting demolished by the Buccaneers last week. They beat the Texans 35-20. Great game from Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams has the game of the season so far for himself. 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Great game for them. 35-20. They beat the Texans, like I said. Good bounce back game for the Packers. The Packers are actually now in first place in the NFC. So there you go. The Lions come back and beat the Falcons 23-22. The Falcons just love torturing their fan base. There's nothing else that you could say. They just love torturing their fan base. They were down 2 points. They were in the red zone. If they got a first down, they could kick a game-winning field goal, run out the clock, and everything would be dandy. The Lions had used up all their timeouts, so they couldn't stop the clock no more. And the Lions basically let Gurley score a touchdown. And Gurley should know better to not go into the end zone, to take a knee at the 1-yard line and run out the clock, and then bring out your kicker, and you could win the game with the kick. But he can't stop his momentum. He shouldn't have been running that hard to begin with, but he's running pretty hard. He gets to the 1-yard line. His momentum is carrying him inside the end zone, and he falls inside the end zone. The Falcons get a touchdown. They go up 6 after converting the 2-point conversion. And then Matthew Stafford has about a minute to go down the field and score the game-winning touchdown. And he does. He brings the Lions back all the way the length of the field. And then he scores a touchdown to Hawkinson. And they win by 1 point. And Falcon fans are on suicide watch. Atlanta fans are on suicide watch. Because, man, if you're an Atlanta fan, if you live in Atlanta and you support Atlanta teams, or you just support Atlanta teams in general, it's been rough. to see the Falcons blow the games the way they have this season, to see the Braves blow a 3-1 lead, oof, that's tough. If there's any Falcon fans or Atlanta fans watching this, listening to this, I apologize. I hope you're doing well. Steelers versus Titans. Both teams came in at 5-0. 27-24, the Steelers won. I'll touch into this game a little bit more later. Great game, 27-24. Big Ben's playing good. Steelers go to 6-0. Buccaneers versus Raiders, 45-20. Buccaneers pulled away late against the Raiders. It was a close game, but then Brady took over in the fourth quarter, scored 3 touchdowns just in the fourth quarter to push the lead to 45-20. The Buccaneers are for real. The Buccaneers are scary, man. Their offense is starting to click. The offense is starting to look really, really good. It looks like they have MVP Tom Brady, and their defense is still really, really good. So watch out for the Buccaneers. If I was a betting man, I'll say that they might come out of the NFC. The way the Seahawks can't stop nobody on defense, it's looking like it's the Buccaneers division, and that's scary, man. If Brady gets another ring with another team, man, that resume just keeps getting better and better. The Chiefs played the Broncos, and then they destroyed them 43-16. The game was not that close throughout the whole game. The Chiefs' offense didn't have to play that well just because the defense and the special teams dominated. It was a rather easy win for the Chiefs, if I might say. The Broncos, they're struggling. They have a lot of injuries. They're probably a year or two away from being able to really keep up with the Chiefs. The Chargers beat the Jaguars 39-29. Herbert looks like he's Patrick Mahomes light. He might even get to that level. His first few games in the NFL have been great. He looks like he's the real deal. I want to apologize to him. I didn't believe in him going into the draft. Everyone's saying that he wasn't ready, and I kind of believed it, especially coming out of the Oregon offense. But he's been killing in the NFL. He looks like the real deal. The Chargers look like they found their QB of the future. Good for them. And yeah, he's going to compete with Herbert for Offensive Rookie of the Year throughout the whole season. He might be in the lead right now, to be honest. He's been playing that good. The 49ers demolished the Patriots 33-6. The Patriots are struggling. They probably have the worst set of offensive weapons in the whole NFL. They have Edelman, and his knee's messed up. And then they have N'Keal Harry, who looks like he's a bust, another bust from Bill Belichick trying to draft wide receivers. He's not good at picking wide receivers. And their defense, they're on the field too much. They couldn't keep up with the Niners. Niners look like they're turning the season around. Do they have too many injuries? Yes. Do they have one of the best coaches in the NFL? Yes. Kyle Shanahan is a beast. And unfortunately for them, they play in the hardest division in football, and the divisional games are coming up. So we'll see how the 49ers end, but good win against the Patriots, 33-6. The Patriots might be regretting letting Tom Brady go. Seahawks versus Cardinals, 34-37. I'm going to go into depth for this game in a little bit, but Cardinals pull out the win, 37-34. Kyle Murray is playing amazing. He's making that jump. He's that next quarterback that's making that jump in their second year. It was him. It was Lamar Jackson. His second year starting, Mahomes did it too. It's just a pattern we're seeing with young QBs getting it pretty early and becoming stars really quick. And that's what Kyle Murray seems like he's on his way to do. And the Rams and the Bears finished Week 7 off with the Rams beating the Bears 24-10. The Bears are pretenders. I've been saying this. They were 5-1. I didn't believe in them. Now they're 5-2. I still don't believe in them. I think they're pretenders. I don't believe in their offense. Nick Foles is not that guy. He had a great run with the Eagles to win a Super Bowl, but he can't be your starting quarterback for the whole season. He's been given the chance with like multiple teams, the Rams, the Eagles again, and now the Bears, and he just doesn't have it. To be fair, the line is terrible. They're not giving him time, but the Bears are not for real, and I could see them just start losing a bunch of games going forward and just falling off a cliff after starting 5-1. But those were the Week 7 scores, Week 7 matchups. It was a great weekend of football. We had a lot of close games, a lot of close games. One of the games that I wanted to touch on a little further was Titans versus the Steelers. Steelers won 27-24. They had a 27-7 lead, I believe, early in the third quarter. And then Tannehill hit A.J. Brown for, I believe it was like a slant. And then he just caught it, kept going, ran it all the way into the end zone. It was like 70-something yards. And that sparked their offense. And then Big Ben kind of helped them out. He threw 3 interceptions in the game. And then the Titans had a chance to tie the game, send it to overtime at the end. But their kicker, Gostkowski, he missed it. It was like a 48-yarder, I believe. He missed it wide right. Unfortunate ending for the Titans. Good for the Steelers. They go to 6-0. Titans are now 5-1. What can I say? The Titans showed me something. They showed me they have faith in their offense to bring them back. If it was any other year with the Titans and they were down that much, that was it. It was a wrap. You could put a nail on it. Like you could turn the channel to a different game. They were not coming back. But Tannehill, the way Tannehill is playing, that turnaround he's made, he has the Titans believing that even if they go down, they could still come back. And I like that about the Titans. Now they have some real weapons. A.J. Brown, Davis at wide receiver. I don't have to mention Henry. He's a monster as a running back. Might be the best running back in the league. And then they have Smith at tight end. He's a good tight end too. He can run. He could catch. They have some pieces on offense, man. They have some pieces on offense where if they go down big, I mean, ideally you don't want to be down big. No one wants to be down big. But if they are down big, you have faith in them that they could come back. Obviously, they're not a offensive powerhouse like the Chiefs were. The Chiefs are like the top on top of that list, where even if they're down a lot of points, you're still like, okay, it's the Chiefs. Like they have one of the best offenses ever, and they could always come back in any game. And they showed it last year on their way to the Super Bowl. The Titans are not there. Don't get me wrong, they're not on that level, but now you're starting to get a little more comfortable with like, okay, this game's not done. If we go down big, I have faith in Tannehill. I have faith in our weapons. I have faith in our offense that, you know what, they'll give us a chance at least to be there at the end. And that's all you could ask for. It's for when there's 5 minutes left in the game, that you still have a chance to win the game. And then anything can happen in those last 5 minutes. But good for the Titans offense. I feel like they're getting better. That was one of the things that I didn't like about them last year going into the playoffs. I feel like they were a little shy letting Tannehill do his thing in the playoffs. But now that he's been there for a year, he's here this year, I feel like if they get in the playoffs, they'll be a more competitive team because their offense is playing a lot better now. As far as the Steelers 6-0. I don't know how many people could have seen that coming. Big Ben was coming off elbow injury last year. He only played 2 games. He's really old. He's like 38 now, I believe. He's from that 04 draft class. He's been in the league for 16 years now. Him and Rivers are still chucking along, which is crazy. That draft class was one of the best for QBs. Shout out to Eli Manning, Rivers, and Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger was actually not turning the ball over that much this season, but he threw 3 picks this weekend against the Titans, and they kind of kept the Titans in the game. He could have sealed the game at the end. He tried to force the throw down the middle. It got picked off. Gave the Titans a chance to go for the tie or the win. But the Steelers defense, that's a real key. That defense is stifling. They held Derrick Henry to, I believe, under 100 yards. It might have been under 80 yards. I believe he got like 75 yards. That defense, that front seven might be the best front seven in the NFL, led by T.J. Watt, J.J. Watt's younger brother. He's amazing. He's getting up there in like defensive ranks. Like he's top 10 in the league at his just defense overall, not even just at his position. He's a real impact player. He's real good. And then their offense looks pretty good. Juju, Claypool, Johnson, Washington, and then Connor's running the ball pretty good. The Steelers look strong, man. The Steelers look strong. For a while, they were always one of those teams that was there in the playoffs. The Steelers and the Patriots, I believe, made up like most of the AFC Championship games. Maybe not against each other, but they were always there. I saw a stat like not too long ago. I said like when one of those two teams missed it, that was the first year that the Steelers or the Patriots weren't in the AFC Championship for like the last 15 years or something, which is crazy. But it looks like Big Ben still has a little juice in his arm. He has a little juice, a little thread left on his tires. Steelers are 6-0. They're the only undefeated team left. A lot of people were saying that the Steelers hadn't played anybody when they were 4-0, but now they played the Browns, who were 4-1 coming into their game and just destroyed them. And then played the Titans, who came in at 5-0, and they beat them down too. So the Steelers now have played two good teams, and they came out on top both times. And now they play the Baltimore Ravens next weekend, so that's going to be a great game. The Ravens come in at 5-1, I believe, against the 6-0 Steelers. Whoo! That's going to be a great game. Can't wait to see it. That's probably it's gonna come down between the Ravens and the Steelers for the division. I think the Browns are probably gonna make the playoffs, but they're not gonna be in contention for the AFC North. So next weekend's game is gonna be real key. Steelers versus Ravens. That's gonna be real special. I think I'll say the Ravens pull the win out. The Ravens are gonna beat the Steelers next weekend. That's my take. But the other team in this division is the Browns and the Bengals, and they played this weekend and they had a great game. The Browns and the Bengals, 37-34. Baker Mayfield started 0 for 5 and a pick. And man, if you would have been on Twitter at that time, everybody was just going in on Baker Mayfield. Everybody was criticizing him. Everybody was taking the opportunity to say, all right, the Browns need to move on from Baker Mayfield. He's not the guy. And I was ready to tweet some stuff out too. I was ready to just bag on him and be like, okay, this Baker Mayfield experiment is over. Like, what are we doing here? The Browns missed again on a quarterback. Like, I feel sorry for the Browns. I thought I was gonna see like one of those that jersey. I think it's in Cleveland where it has all the names of the quarterbacks, and there's so many quarterbacks that have played for them like over the last few like years, like 20 years, that like the names are coming out of the jersey now because there's been so many, and they've all been terrible. And I was like, damn, are they gonna put Baker Mayfield's name next? Like, is this it? And unfortunately, on that interception that he threw, OBJ was the intended receiver, and when the defensive back picked it off, OBJ hustled back to try to make a tackle, and then when he tried to slow down, I think his knee buckled or something happened. Didn't look right. He fell to the ground. He was out for the game. And unfortunately, yesterday, on Monday, they confirmed that he tore an ACL and he's done for the season. So I feel bad for OBJ. He's one of the stars of the NFL. He's one of the faces of the NFL. Everyone knows who OBJ is. He's one of the biggest stars of the NFL. It's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate when anybody gets injured, but it's even more unfortunate when like one of the stars, one of the recognizable players of the NFL gets hurt. So I wish OBJ the best. I hope he recovers. I know he's going to come back strong. And I know he's still going to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, or one of the top 15 wide receivers in the NFL. But as far as Baker Mayfield, he turned it around after starting 0-5 and throwing that pick. He went 22 for 23 for almost 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. And that incompletion that he had, I think it was on the last drive when he had a clock hit and he had to stop the time from running. So that goes to show he basically ended 22 for 22 for 5 touchdowns and like 300 yards. That's ridiculous. I don't care if it's the Bengals or anybody else. That's impressive. Baker Mayfield I don't know, he flipped the switch. Everyone's saying that it's because OBJ left the game and now he didn't have the pressure to throw the ball to OBJ. And there might be some truth to that, but I don't agree that he should play better now without OBJ. OBJ is a star. He demands double teams. We all know what OBJ could do. And I think it's doing a disservice to OBJ to say that the Browns are better without him. I think if that is true, that the pressure to throw to him is like so strong that it causes him to make mistakes or stuff like that, I think Baker Mayfield just needs to be more headstrong and understand that it doesn't matter if I have OBJ or not. Like, the ball is in my hand. I'm the only player that touches the ball on every play. And I'm going to make the best decision with this football no matter which wide receiver feels any type of way, if he does put pressure on him or not. So if he does put pressure on him and he struggles because of that, then he just needs to get more headstrong and be more like assertive and just say, hey, I'm the quarterback. I'm going to throw it to whoever I see that's open. And not just because OBJ's out now, he's going to play with the freedom to just hit anybody. So I don't agree that the Browns are better without OBJ. But with that being said, Baker Mayfield did look great. He was connecting with wide receiver after wide receiver. He was just spreading the ball pretty good. That last drive against the Bengals, when they were down, was a thing of beauty. That touchdown on the right-hand side was amazing. And I think he threw it to Peoples-Jones. Who's Peoples-Jones? I don't know. But those were the wide receivers that the Browns had on the field at the time, and Baker Mayfield just made it work. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come for Baker Mayfield, because if the Browns get a quarterback that's consistent, if they could get this consistent games from Baker Mayfield, then they could be dangerous. They could be a real threat, because they have some pieces on defense and they have some weapons on offense. I know they're kind of hurt right now, but some of them will come back. They could piece some wins together, give Baker Mayfield some confidence. By the time the playoffs comes, who knows? Because they don't play a winning team in a month, a team with a winning record. They have 4 games with teams under 500, and then they play the Titans in a month, I believe, December something. So hopefully this is a sign for Baker Mayfield to just get better and use this as a springboard to just keep playing better and better and better, because he looked amazing yesterday. And now they don't have OBJ, so now it's really Baker Mayfield's team. And Hunt or Chubb is still out, so let's go, Baker Mayfield. Let's do it. As far as the Bengals look like they have a mess of a team, but they have Joe Burrow now, and he's been amazing. He's, like I said, he's going to contend with Herbert for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the Bengals just need to get rid of all the problems they have on their team. I know there's a couple players that keep saying they want to leave the Bengals. I think Dunlap is tweeting on that he's selling his house in Cincinnati because he's not getting playing time. They need to get rid of these players. They need to just start fresh. They have a young quarterback that looks like he's elite, that they have a real future with him. So just get rid of all the problems on the team. If there's players that are not getting playing time and they want to leave, just let them go. Get some draft picks for them. Try to build a winning culture in Cincinnati. That's what they need to do, is just get rid of all the problems. If AJ Green, probably try to get something for AJ Green. He's getting older. He's probably not going to be part of the process. Try to get something from him. Try to get something for Dunlap. Just clean the house out for all the older players that aren't performing anymore, the players that don't want to be there, and just build a nice, safe environment for Joe Burrow, because he looks like he's the real deal, and he's making it work right now. The wins aren't stacking up, but you could just tell that Joe Burrow is the truth, and they need to help him out. Don't mess up Joe Burrow. Don't do him a disservice and keep players that don't want to be there on that team. But the NFC North looks really scary going forward. If Baker Mayfield could play like this, could be consistent and just give us... Obviously, he's never going to have 22 for 23, 5 touchdowns going forward. This is a ridiculous game. It's what's going to be one of his career highlights, however long his career is. But if he could somehow get to that level or get close to that level consistently, the Browns have their QB of the future, and he'll be nice. The Bengals have Joe Burrow, and the Baltimore Ravens have Lamar Jackson. So good luck to the Steelers once Big Ben is out, because that division is going to be tough for years to come. And Big Ben, I don't know how many years he has left. I believe he's 38, 39, maybe a couple years more, but they need to start thinking, what are we going to do going forward? Because they don't want to be left without Big Ben and have no quarterback, no plan going forward. In this division with Burrow, Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson, it's going to be tough. So good luck to the Steelers this season. This is probably going to be the best chance to get another ring with Big Ben and then start looking towards the future, because you need a quarterback in this division. Another game that I wanted to talk about, the last game for this week, was the Seahawks against the Cardinals. Battle of the two teams in the best division in football. The Seahawks and the Cardinals, they both play in the NFC West, and that division is tough. These division games are coming up, so it's going to be crucial to win these games. All 4 teams in that division might make the playoffs now that there's an extra playoff spot. So it's going to be fun to see how things play out. But if you missed the game, it was a great, great game. Sunday Night Football, probably the best game. The best Sunday Night Football game of the season. The Cardinals look strong. At first, it kind of felt like the Seahawks were going to pull away. But Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions yesterday. super rare for him to do that. That's not like him. But the Cardinals were able to capitalize on those turnovers, especially at the end. In the overtime, they capitalized on the Russell Wilson pick, and they were able to score the game-winning touchdown. That game was so, like, I'm losing my train of thought right now because that game was ridiculous. At first, it looked like the Seahawks were gonna win. It looked like they were gonna go away and push their lead and just take control of the game, and they couldn't. The Cardinals came back, forced the game to overtime. They were down 10 with like 6 minutes left, and Kyler Murray drives them. They score a touchdown. They stop the Seahawks. They get the ball back with like a minute. They drive and get a game-tying field goal to send it to overtime. And then in overtime, it looks like the Cardinals are going to win. They kick a field goal. They miss. The Seahawks get the ball. Screen pass to DK. He runs it into the end zone. Seahawks win. Walk-off touchdown. It gets brought back with a holding call. The very next play, Russell Wilson throws a pick. And you're like, what's going on? You're just baffled at how much action is going on in this game. And then Kyler Murray completes like 2 more passes. Runs. I think he ran it like 1 more time. Gets his field goal. Team out there again. And this time they convert and they win. And if you're watching that game, you're just holding your breath like, whoa, what did I just watch? This game was amazing. And there were so many good plays going on. I think Russell Wilson was like at the 5-yard line trying to throw a touchdown pass to Chris Carson. And he didn't see Buka Bader undercutting Carson. He gets picked off. And it looks like they're going to run it back for a pick 6. And DK Metcalf, with the physical specimen that he is, he's super fast. I think he ran like a 4.3 in the NFL Combine. Just catches up and tackles him at the 5-yard line. And the Cardinals are not able to push it in from the 5-yard line in. And they go for it on 4th down and they don't convert. So DK Metcalf just saved 7 points, or at least 3. But he saved 7 points from the Seahawks. It was a crazy, crazy game. Like, the World Series was going on too, but I just had to keep putting it back to the Sunday Night Football game because it was just a good game. Hopkins had another great game. He had like 10 catches, 100 yards. Larry Fitzgerald just keeps adding to the record books. He keeps getting catches. He's one of the best wide receivers of all time. He's right there beneath Jerry Rice in most records now. He's just a great. Everyone always says that he's a great man, and he's one of the character guys in the NFL. So, kudos to Larry Fitzgerald. But yeah, it was an amazing game. Seahawks lose their undefeated season. I think they lose Chris Carson. I don't know for how long he's gonna be out, but that could be a problem because they rely on the running game at the end. I think they kind of suffered from not having Chris Carson. They didn't have a running back that they could just run it down the middle of the Cardinals defense and try to get some first down and end the game. Tyler Lockett had 200 yards receiving and like 15 receptions, like 2-3 touchdowns. Most underrated wide receiver in the NFL is Lockett. He's amazing. Him and DK Metcalf make a great partnership. They're going to have to rely on that offense because the Seahawks defense we went from the Legion of Boom from the Seahawks to now having this defense that can't stop anybody. So there's a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson to score points and to not throw 3 interceptions in a game because that defense can't stop anybody. So good luck to the Seahawks good luck to Russell Wilson. He's going to have to carry that offense. He's going to have to carry that team because that defense, they should probably trade for somebody, but I don't know how their pick situation is looking like. That defense is struggling, and they need to do something for that defense because I have them going to the Super Bowl, but that's not a Super Bowl winning defense, or that's not going to get you through the NFC. Because if you go to the Packers and Aaron Rodgers is playing good, it's going to be rough. And if you go to the Buccaneers now that they have Brown and they still have Evans and they have Godwin, it's going to be rough. So if I'm the Seahawks, I try to get Adams back. I still don't think Adams was back, so hopefully he gives them a big lift. But they need to trade for someone that could get after the quarterback because they were saying on the telecast, the commentators were saying that they just get no pressure on the quarterback. They get no pressure. They're like the worst team at pressuring the quarterback. And in today's NFL, if you don't pressure the quarterback, your defense has no chance because then the quarterback just has all day, and eventually somebody's gonna get wide open. So Seahawks need to fix that. They're still fine. They're 5-1. I don't think the ceiling is falling on them or anything, but they do have a lot of divisional games coming up, and the Rams, the Niners, and the Cardinals are all tough teams. So we'll see how that goes. As far as the Cardinals, great win for them. They had some dumb losses at the beginning of the season, so that might hurt them going forward. But to beat the Seahawks in the fashion they did, there's good things to come. Kyler Murray looks like he's the truth. He kind of looks like Russell Wilson, but like faster and quicker. So, and I like how they traded for Hopkins. I gave him props when that happened. I give him props a lot for doing that. I think if you have a young quarterback, you got to give him at least one elite wide receiver. And Larry Fitzgerald is great, but he's old, so he's not an elite wide receiver no more. He's just like a pretty good wide receiver. So good job for them. Hopefully they could build on this. And I might say that it looks like all 4 teams might make the playoffs. Like I kind of want that to happen. I want the NFC West to be well represented. I want all 4 teams to make the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. But I think that'll be good. That'll be some good storylines to have all 4 teams just make the playoffs, and then one of them they're gonna end up matching up against each other in the playoffs. And these NFC West teams always have good games when they play against each other, so that'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. And hopefully the Cardinals could stay consistent and at least get a wild card spot and make the playoffs. But that was it for week 7 of the NFL. I wanted to transition into the Premier League. The Premier League matchday 6 is now in the books. It ended yesterday with Tottenham beating. Who did they beat? Tottenham beat Burnley 1-0. That was the last game of matchday 6. Quickly, I'm going to go over the scores real quick. Leeds United beats Aston Villa 3-0. Surprising result. Aston Villa had been perfect. They had won all their games. Leeds United gets 3 goals from Patrick Bamford. They went 3-0. Aston Villa loses their first game. West Ham ties against Man City. Surprising result. We keep thinking Man City is going to just finally get the balls rolling, start clicking on all cylinders, and this is not the weekend. They tie against West Ham 1-1. Crystal Palace beats Fulham 2-1. Manchester United and Chelsea tie at 0-0. Game, it was a pretty hyped up game. I thought there was gonna be a lot of goals. Watched the whole game and it didn't live up to the expectations, but there was a lot of controversy. I'll touch on it in a little bit. Liverpool and Sheffield. Liverpool beat Sheffield 2-1. Come back from 1-0. Another little controversial call in that game. I'll touch on that in a little bit. Everton lose to Southampton 2-0. Surprising result. Didn't see that coming. Wolves tied to Newcastle 1-1. My Wolves. They were up 1-0. Jimenez scored a banger, and it looked like they were going to win. And then Newcastle tied it at the end. Soft foul that they got a free kick out of it right outside the box. And then I think the right back was able to curl it on the free kick. Ties 1-1 against Wolves. Arsenal loses to Leicester City 1-0. Leicester City gets another win. First win at Arsenal, and I think they said like 40 years or like 39 years. So big win for Leicester. And then on Monday, Brighton ties 1-1 against West Brom, and Burnley loses 0-1 to Tottenham. The first game I wanted to talk about was City versus West Ham. The game started with Antonio scoring an overhead goal in the 18th minute. Great goal. Put City in a hole. And once again, like once that game started, I was like, whoa, here we go. Like another hole that City has to dig themselves out of. And it just seems like it's been going on a lot recently that City leads or City gives up a lead or is down against like an inferior team. And they were able to score like at the very beginning of the second half. In the 51st minute, Foden sneaks into the box, gets a pass, slots in the bottom left corner. Good goal for City. And then after that, City was on top. City was dominating the game. City had the most chances. City had the most possession, like they usually do. But as it's been customary this season, they've been kind of struggling to score goals. And the game ended 1-1. Man City drops points again. It's not the end of the world. I feel like I say this every weekend. It's not the end of the world because other teams are dropping points too. But Liverpool didn't drop points, and now they're tied for first place with Everton. and City just can't get a win streak going. Every weekend I feel like, all right, this is gonna be the start of a win streak for Man City. This is gonna be the weekend that they get getting everything good. They get everything firing on all cylinders. This is gonna be the weekend where we're gonna see Pep's Man City play beautiful soccer, and then they're gonna finally like score big and destroy a team, and then we're gonna be like, okay, this is the Man City that we're accustomed to seeing, where they just score goals for fun and they always dominate the opponent. And another weekend has passed, and that still has not happened. Tie 1-1 against West Ham. Aguero was taken off at halftime. He only played 45 minutes. He has been their main goal scorer for years. Basically, since he's been there, he's always been their top scorer, unless he's like missed a lot of the season because of injury. And even most season when he is gone with injury, he still ends up being their top scorer. So I feel like they need him to get going. They need him to find his form, because they kind of rely on him to score goals. And without Aguero, no one's really stepping up to score goals. I don't know if Aguero's getting old. He's piled on a lot of injuries throughout his career. So I don't know how much he has left on the tank, but he only played 45 minutes. To be fair, when he went out, Foden came in and they looked like a better team. And Foden ended up scoring the only goal for Man City. So I don't know what they do. Like, you got to get Aguero in form, but they play better without him. So it might just be time to move away from Aguero, or hope he gets into rhythm, into form. There was this pregame interview from Klopp before the Liverpool game that I saw on the NBC coverage, and he was just like saying how it's not fair for City to play the early game on Saturday, that they played Champions League, they're tired, they're traveling, and for them to play the early morning games, like, why can't they play Sunday? I believe he was saying that he's not complaining, but like, we've seen Pep like talk about it, and it's just like the EPL, the Premier League, doesn't help him out, and it is what it is. They're gonna play, but like, they don't have enough players to be fit. Their players are fatigued. They're just trying to throw a lineup onto the field of players that are fit. So I could see that. I could see that as an excuse to why Man City tied against West Ham. The players were tired. Like Klopp said, like, you're just gifting the other team like an opportunity to win. But Man City have a deep squad, and they just have more quality. Like, their quality of players is way greater than West Ham's. So I don't think that's a big enough excuse for them to not win at West Ham. Sorry. But the last 3 games for Man City, they tied 1-1 versus Leeds United. They beat Arsenal 1-0, and now they tied West Ham. So that's not what you want to see from Man City. Hopefully they turn it around. They did beat Porto 3-1 in Champions League over the week before this weekend, but like, it wasn't as spectacular goals either. It was like a penalty, a free kick, and like, I forgot the other goal, but they're not playing that great of soccer. I hear that they're missing Silva. A lot of people are saying that they're just missing Silva's creativity. And now that he's gone, they don't have nobody to play that role, and they really relied on him, like, moving players and getting into spaces and just opening up the field, like, being the genius that he is. So hopefully Foden could play that role, or they just find another little magician, because that Man City football that we're so used to enjoying, even though whatever your feelings are on Man City, I know a lot of teams don't like them, you could admit that for the most part, they play pretty entertaining soccer. And this season, they haven't been playing that well. So we'll see if they're able to turn it around. You know, if there's some highlights, Cancelo played the left back. He played good. He had the assist on the goal, and he just looked dangerous on the left flank the whole game. And Sterling just needs to, he gets in position, he gets chances, he just needs to improve his finishing. He always, for the most part, he always comes across a chance or two every game. So if he's able to put them away, then they should probably be in good shape. But we'll see how it goes for Man City. They play Liverpool in 2 weeks, so they have 1 more week to get into rhythm, because that Liverpool game is going to be crucial if they want to. They got to beat Liverpool if they want to catch up to them. So we'll see how they do in 2 weeks. Tied against West Ham. It's not the result they want. It's not the start of the season that you want, but a lot of people have faith in Pep. I kind of have faith in Pep when it comes to league. So we'll see how it goes. I did have Man City winning the league now that Liverpool lost Van Dijk, but it looks like they're taking their time to turn the boat around. So we'll see how much longer they keep playing like this, and if they do turn it around soon. Manchester United versus Chelsea, 0-0. This was probably the game of the week going into the week. Everyone like highlighted this game in the schedule. Man United versus Chelsea. Chelsea, get to show off their new front three, their new signings against Man United. They both haven't had a clean sheet going into this week. They both like to score goals. They have a pretty potent offense, both teams. Everyone thought it was going to be a high-scoring game. Everyone thought, it was going to be really fun because there's going to be a lot of goals. It's going to be entertaining. There's probably going to be a lot of mistakes from the defense. There's going to be a lot to talk about. And 0-0, frankly, the game wasn't that good. The most entertaining thing about the game was another VAR controversy. Maguire basically hugged Azpilicueta, put him on a headlock on a corner kick, and nothing got called. Azpilicueta got up screaming, and even the commentators, when they saw the replay, they were like, okay, they're probably going to take a look at this once the ball goes out or once the play stops. And then right after that play, Rashford takes the ball on the Chelsea's half now, and he's pushing towards their box, and he falls. He gives like a pass, and he falls. And then right after that, VAR starts reviewing like a play, and everyone like that's watching, everyone that I saw like on Twitter thought, all right, like they're probably checking the previous foul that Maguire had on Azpilicueta. That's probably what they're checking. But they were actually just checking the Rashford like tumble that he had on the Chelsea box. They were checking that instead of checking like the clear and obvious penalty that Maguire had on Azpilicueta. And that got me mad because if you guys don't know, I've said to get rid of VAR. I think fixing VAR is gonna be like difficult just because it's people that are controlling it. It's a machine, but people are making the decision, and I just don't believe they have the capability to make that decision, or it's not gonna be quick enough. I don't know. There's a lot of things that VAR could use to get fixed, and it just seems like we're so far away from fixing it that if it was up to me, I would just scrap it, just go back to how it was, because there was controversial calls before, but we didn't talk about them as much as now. Like now, everything's just amplified. If a call gets missed, it's like, why did it get missed when we get VAR? And sometimes there's missed calls because of VAR. Like, really, that's a penalty, or like that's an offside, or like that's like I don't know. I'm gonna go on a whole VAR rant, but it was disgusting how the referees didn't even take a look at it again. It kind of like, I don't want to say it, but it kind of feels like there's favoritism in these VAR calls. Like, I don't know who's controlling this refs or if there's anything going on behind closed doors, but it just feels like some teams just always get VAR decisions for them, and then some teams just always catch the end of the stick when it comes to VAR. And Manchester United seems to be one of those teams that usually get the good side of VAR, because it was like a slap in the face that the Azpilicueta foul, Maguire fouling Azpilicueta, didn't get a review. But when Rashford got like just a little grace, or like not even like, it was nothing. It was really nothing. And they took the time to go review that foul when it happened literally like 35 seconds after the one that was a foul, and it was clear and obvious. For the regular viewer, it was just a slap on the face. I know Twitter was blowing up. Everyone was talking about it. Like, what? Like, are you serious? How is this even possible that you have the nerve to check this one, but not the one that is a foul 30 seconds earlier? I'm not going to keep talking about VAR. It was a disgusting call by the ref, disgusting by the people upstairs that control VAR. But let's move on. Just hopefully for our sake, for the sake of soccer, VAR gets better. The people controlling VAR, the people that make decisions to review plays, hopefully they tidy up their calls and they get better. But for Chelsea, Mendy, their new keeper, he looks like he's really good. If they had Azpilicueta, Chelsea probably would have lost 2-0 to Manchester United. Azpilicueta wouldn't have made those saves that Mendy did. He had a one-on-one against Rashford that he stopped with his foot in the first half. Great use of the feet by Mendy. And then in stoppage time, Rashford had the ball like right inside the box, and he cut in to his right foot. And he tried to curl it to the right post, and it looked good, man. As I was watching the game, I was kind of like leaning back in my bed. I was like, whoa, he's gonna put that on the top right, or like it looks like he's gonna curl it, and it's gonna be like a walk-off game-winning goal by Rashford. And Mendy shuffled his feet, put a hand on it, pushed it to the side, and it was just a great save by Mendy. And everyone kind of knew, like, okay, he's better than Azpilicueta. He's better than Kepa. If Kepa was there, they would have lost this game. So good signing for Chelsea. For both teams, if you want to take a positive from this, is that both defenses played rather good. Maguire was actually playing really good before the whole controversy thing. Like, he needs to get those moments out of his game, but he was like pretty solid at the back. There was a lot of crosses that kept going into the half, and it always found Maguire's head, just knocking them out of danger for Manchester United. So he was playing good. He was everywhere basically. Every time that Chelsea had a ball, you kind of heard like the Maguire's name through the commentary. Oh, Maguire clears it, or whatever. So pretty solid game from Maguire. Thiago Silva probably had the best game as a Chelsea player. Cavani made his debut for Manchester United. He looked pretty dangerous. He looks like he still has, a lot of good games left on his legs. He looked dangerous. It looked like he still has his movement. He almost scored a goal in the near corner where he just made a run to the first post. Not that big of a touch, but he knows just how to push the ball, and it went right on the side of the net. But Cavani looks like he's going to be a good signing for Manchester United. I don't know who they're going to bench or who their starting front three is going to be, but I think Cavani should be the starter, maybe Rashford on the side. And I don't know. They got to figure out how to get Cavani on the field because he looks like he's dangerous. And like I said, Thiago Silva had his best game as a blue. There was a play at the end where Cavani made a great run, and he was going to like position himself to score the game-winning goal. And Thiago Silva read his movement. They both used to play at PSG, so they know each other. And he read Cavani's movement perfectly, and he cut him off right in time to make a sliding challenge right as Cavani shot the ball. And it was a good defensive play by Thiago Silva, and everybody was like, okay, there we go. Now we got some defenders in our back for Chelsea. So hopefully Thiago Silva can stay healthy and he can stay consistent, because even though he's 36 years old, I believe he's old. He's an old center back. He's the best center back for Chelsea. I applauded them for getting him at the end of the transfer market, because he's a solid center back and they need as much center back help as they could get. So it was a rather boring game, but we'll take it. I'll take it as long as there's no VAR controversy. If it's a boring game and there's no VAR controversy, then it's fine. But it didn't live up to the hype, to be honest. But it is what it is. Both teams could take a positive from it. They at least kept a clean sheet. For Chelsea, Thiago Silva looked good and Mendy looked good at the back. So hopefully that shores up their back line and their keeper situation. And then their forwards, they should be fine. They have a lot of talent on the front, so they should be fine. As far as Manchester United, Maguire played good. Other than the dumb foul he made that didn't get checked by VAR, he played good. Their offense wasn't clicking today, but they had their chances. So going forward, hopefully, both teams could start, playing solid defense and their goal scorers start scoring goals. For Manchester United, Cavani looked good. He's probably going to score some goals for them this season. It's going to help him out. But that was match day 6 of the Premier League. Another good weekend of soccer. Match day 7 is going to be another good one. Some key games. Just looking at the schedule real quick. The most eye-catching game for next weekend, it's probably Manchester United versus Arsenal. That one should be good. And then we have Liverpool-West Ham. We'll see if West Ham could continue, getting ties from big teams. Manchester City plays Sheffield. This is probably the weekend that Manchester United is going to turn it around and start playing really, really good. Chelsea play Burnley, so they'll probably get back on track too versus Burnley. Everton plays Newcastle. We'll see how they do. Leicester plays Leeds. That should be another good game. Wolves start the weekend off against Crystal Palace. So we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for subscribing to to my podcast, to my YouTube channel. Wherever you're listening to this, I appreciate every single one of you guys for listening to the podcast. Appreciate the support. This has been Hard to Handle Sports Podcast, episode 13. My name's Ismael San Juan. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great morning. Have a great afternoon. Whatever time you're listening to this, have a great time. Thank you.